Well, let's get right into it. This is a hot one. Schools are believed to be secure sanctuaries of learning, but have now become a thriving marketplace for kidnappers. Ooh, scary, isn't it? Yes. It is so worrisome that a lot of parents and guardians are now unenthusiastic about sending their children and wards to school. No surprise there. This new and ugly spate of kidnapping of students from boarding houses and schools, and in fact, anywhere in our nation right now, has reawakened state governments and security agencies to the importance of tight security for our children, their teachers, and indeed school caregivers. On the Amazons today, we will be looking at the evil of kidnappings in our boarding schools, as well as preferring solutions to curbing this ugly and unwelcome menace. Now, wow. Kidnapping in our schools, in our streets, but unfortunately, you know, it seems as if it's society breaking down. Anarchy, when our children who have gone to learn and, you know, in school are no longer safe. What's going on?
You know, it's so scary, especially for people like me who have children in a boarding school in this country. You know, immediately we heard of the first kidnapping last year. My mind just went haywire, you know, but we have to do what we have to do. Some of us believe in sending our children to boarding schools, some don't, and there's no guarantee that if it's not, they cannot do the same thing from a day school. You know, so
did you rush and go and pick up your kids?
No, luckily we heard the first one was in Ikorodu area. She's not in Ikorodu area, she's in Nijebu. But I thought about people that had children in that school. I started calling them up. You know, I started calling them up because I remembered, I had friends, yes, that their kids went over to that school. I started calling them up, you know, and they couldn't just, it was unimaginable, even for the children, you know, so. One
cannot fathom the idea of you're going to school and you have to worry about,
the safety of your children.
Safety of your children. How about just worrying about them not getting hurt or malaria?
Normal things.
Yeah, normal things. Aisha,
no, I'm just dumbfounded by, you know, what is happening, and you have to think in retrospect. How did we get here? How did we get here? How did we become so heartless? How did we become so evil? Because this is what it is. Yes. You would think that the boarding school, that indeed school will be the safest place for a child. You would think that the child will be secured in that environment. You would think that if you were being called because of a situation concerning your child in the boarding school, it might be because of an ailment, you know, malaria, toothache, or, you know, some kind.
Or maybe the child has gotten into mischief.
For medical reasons, or perhaps the child has broken a law in school and they needed the parents' attention to come and address the situation.
Well, we are obviously concerned parents. We are scared, but we are facing our fears. And today, as we go on the Amazons, we are talking about the rampant kidnapping in our boarding schools. Kidnap on the rise. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Amazons. I'm not really smiling too much today, are we? Because of the topic, you know. Today on the Amazons, we're talking about the ugly spate of kidnapping in our schools. I have a parent and an entrepreneur who's going to come, and we're going to get right into it. Please welcome Chief Bright Urenyere to the stage. You're welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Thank you for coming. Chief, are you a red cap chief?
Exactly, sure.
Okay. I ask that because as a parent and a traditional man, have you ever seen this kind of breakdown in society before? whereby children are now at risk of being kidnapped by who knows who they are?
I think this is a very ugly situation that we're in Nigeria. If I take it back a little bit, I've not seen this kind of thing recently, and I think we're really in a serious problem.
How do you think we got here, though? Some people will say it's the economy, some people say it's greed, some people say it's lack of security.
I think I can sum them up as breakdown of moral ethics, politics, economy, etc. Because once you have a good background, I don't think you should think about going to kidnap somebody for whatever reasons. Somebody's child for that matter. Because I believe that those who are kidnapping people's children to have their own kids in the house.
We have a principal of a school who is going to join us, and her name, please welcome Mrs. Bisi Laiwala. She is the principal of Global International College, Lekki.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Sorry, we go right into that discussion because it's scary. You know, I don't know. Of course, you don't live underneath a rock, so of course you are aware of what's been happening in our schools. Being a school principal owner yourself, what measures have you taken to avoid such happening?
Yes, the situation is really worrisome, and I tell you, everyone is concerned. What we have done is to put everyone on red alert, meaning that as students, you are told that you have to watch your surroundings. If you suspect that anything is not going properly, you know, you tell a teacher or you raise an alarm. So the students are aware that anything can happen in Nigeria at this time, and so they have to be on red alert, and they have to know that it's important for them to be secure. Then secondly, we are dialoguing with our parents to let them also face the reality of the times, meaning that, well, in your own area, secure yourself, secure your property, and help us too at the school. And we have told them that to help us properly, they need to identify or let us know who they want to pick up their children. Yes, their children, their wards, so that we will follow suit and we will not release them to any unauthorized person, because that is very, very important. Then our own premises, we have tried to secure, again, review our safety procedures and all that, and be sure that we're on top of it. But we all know that we can only try our best. So we are all just trying to try our own best in this situation and pray that God will really safeguard us and the children.
I also think that parents and students themselves have to begin to consciously have security tips at the back of their minds. They say no crime ever takes place without an insider. That also is very, very important in my opinion. Who takes your child to school? Who knows when they are doing what? Who knows when they are coming from holidays? Who knows the routine of the child in school? If it is not somebody from the child's family, it is from within the school itself. So I think the school also has a responsibility to begin to do a background check. Especially on the non-teaching staff. You see the cleaners, the gatemen, those who go into the community and come from the community to work in the school during the day and close at night. They are very close to the workings of the school. So if anything is going to happen, there must be, you know, information coming from within.
That's quite right, Aisha. Thank you. We have heard from the parent and the principal. Today on Amazons, we're talking about the ugly, unfortunate kidnapping incidents that are occurring in our nation, in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
So we liaise with others and we exchange information and work together and see that we can put an end to issues, because it's becoming rampant and it's look as if the security agencies are not doing anything. We are actually working and trying to make sure we put an end to every
Why do you
case.
think it's happening though? You said, why do you think they're kidnapping in schools now?
In schools now, most likely, if you look at the terrain where this occur, most often even aside schools, if you look at Oluora, it's close to the waterways where you have grove, you have swampy areas, that's routes that they are so familiar with.
Really?
We've not heard of any incidents around maybe Caleb International, Dancehall is in the town, schools in the town,
it's all those
schools in rural areas that the escape route is so easy for them and they're familiar with the routes.
Omasa, I wanted to ask a question which I'm sure that a lot of people here in the crowd possibly don't know. You introduced them as being from NSCDC.
Yes.
I'm not even sure a lot of people out there, people in the crowd know the exact full meaning of that acronym, number one, and what exactly their role is in the society.
Okay. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. That is the right acronym.
How many are you? What's your strength?
Security-wise, we don't give figures.
Oh, really?
Yes, we don't give figures.
I apologize.
Yeah, we don't give figures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we have this situation on our hands now, kidnappings in Lagos, in schools, we have
landlords on the road doing exercise.
Even royal fathers and being kidnapped from their palaces,
from their farms.
On the people. It's just so rampant. What measures, in the case of schools, are you also now going to be working closely with schools now?
We have undercover personnel that do the intelligence gathering. So because if they go in this, so they will notice that something is going on around there. So those personnel will be there, 24-hour surveillance, to man whatever activity that is going on around there, so that we too that in the uniform will now know the next step.
So what would be your final word, Chinyere, concerning how we can avoid our children being kidnapped in schools, security-wise now?
Well, what's like an advice, like the school, they should have a good fence, Then the security guards, they should get license. They should get that security guard from licensed security guard company.
And they can check that from you.
Yes.
Also, you have the database.
Yes, of those security guard companies.
Lovely. Okay, Kainde.
Yeah, thank you. I would look at it from both day and boarding students, because it really doesn't stop at days boarding students. Sometimes people are being trailed, dropping off their children. You check your drivers, you check your house helps, you check people around you, even the lesson teachers. You do a profiling on those people, because they're the ones that give out information to these kidnappers, because they don't come randomly and pick anybody up. They pick people that they know that they can get some, because it's about ransom. They call and would want to get ransom. They don't kidnap for fun. They kidnap because they feel there's something in it for them. Aside that, when it comes to the school, I think and the community in general, where the school resides, it's security is everybody's business.
Thank you very much, our PR and Deputy PRO. PRO and Deputy PRO from the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Thank you very much for coming on and giving us those words of wisdom to stay safe. Any final words you want to say?
No, they've said everything. The message is quite clear. Security is in our hands. Be conscious of the people that you allow in your do background check, do profiling, approach NSDC if you want to employ your security and your drivers, the people that work in close proximity with you, so that you and your family can be safe.
With all that, it's a lot, but it's important. We'll be right back on the Amazons. Do not go anywhere. You are most welcome back to the Amazons. We are still discussing the new, ugly, and most unwelcome, right, ladies? Trend. Very unfortunate trend of kidnapping in our schools. With us in the studio today is somebody we are all eager to talk to tackle this issue with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Fatai Owusheni. Please have a seat, sir. You are so welcome, sir. Thank you for coming. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, as I'm sure you're aware, you're an officer who's really good at his job.
I think so.
Based on the fact that some children were kidnapped from their schools recently. Thank you, they have been released for that rescue. Even before
we want to comment in even before Ekpe from Ikorodu, the swiftness action of the Lagos State.
Let's thank Lagosians and the government of Lagos.
Yes.
And of course, our bosses in headquarters, the IG and this management team, for the guidance they've been giving us.
But sir, it's a new menace in society. Why is it happening, kidnapping in schools?
The society itself is not static, it's dynamic. And of course, as things change in the society, so also the types of crimes and the manners in which crimes are committed will change. In those days, it would probably be that someone was stolen motorcycle. Then we evolved to people stealing those motorcycles using guns. We graduated to stealing and robbing cars. And once the society changes globally, it's not just about Nigeria. That is what we are having now. And somehow, someday, very soon, we'll overcome. As of the time I got into Lagos, it used to be that, people were, criminal elements were attacking motorists on the road. And you find out that our society, especially in this country, is like what they call the loose language, copycat. If you put up a machine now to be doing popcorn, and people find out that you are making money from it, you see everybody move towards popcorn. And the same thing with crimes, because some people, unfortunately, that is their means of livelihood. And that is what we have now. We overcome it. Yes, people will tell you poverty. People will tell you that they don't have work. But you have a government that's saying, okay, let us now do urban rural drift. Let people go back to the farm. The government is saying that we can empower you to do some of these things. And if you think you don't want to go and till the ground, that you can also get on some of the platform to get white-collar jobs. So people should rather move into that instead of kidnapping children that don't even know anything. These children are not the people that cause their woes, for God's sake. These children are not the people, neither the children nor their parents are the people that say they should not get work. So it's one, appeal to the criminal elements. They should. Let them take the cue.
Sir, I have a pertinent question that I want to ask, and which is this, that we have 2 kidnappings in Lagos in the past couple of months, or in schools and in boarding houses. The police is doing enough. It may just look as though that because the kidnapped students were released and they were found, it means that a time is coming, if this is not curbed and nipped in the bud quickly and eradicate it and stamp it out. I don't want to even think about a situation where they will go to another school, kidnap the students, and the worst happens. Do you think that intelligence policing can nip it in the bud before it happens? That information sharing, community information, if police can infiltrate the communities, maybe because these criminal elements live amongst us. They come from homes, they come from communities, they come from families. If intelligence policing can be enhanced, perhaps it would help. I don't know. I'm just
let me first tell you that everything that the police do now is intelligence-led. We now apply technology to most of our investigation. But you must also get something clear. No society can you eradicate crime. And the most advanced technology, why do you have in some countries that they will tell you that gunmen enter a school and kill 11, 15 people? The technology is advanced. They have CCTV. They have police that are more equipped than us. And it happens there like every month, every three months. In their own cases, they are even killing. So you cannot completely eradicate crime. As partnering with members of the public, you recall that when the Inspector General of Police assumed office, one of the policy thrusts he has put out is for us to have eminent personality forum. What is our aim doing that? Is to get the community more involved, is to get policing to the grassroots, is to get information. But we should get something clear. The police and the security agencies cannot do it alone.
These schools, how can they help the police to secure, or how can they help themselves and help the parents who have put children in their care in the boarding schools to make sure that the security of those children is their primary responsibility that they must carry out?
You see, to the schools and to some other organizations, companies and whatever, in those days, schools are sited right in remote areas, in villages where you think learning is conducive. But as the society moves, as I've mentioned to you, the modus operandi of the criminals also change. The sophistication with which criminals commit their crimes has changed. Criminals probably now have gone the security agents. Then it probably wouldn't be necessary to do what we call threat analysis or a security assessment, because the community then was alive to their civic duties. Just like even in schools, when some of us were in schools, there was a subject called civic. They don't do it again. So in some of those schools, I had friends that were sharing thoughts who said they went to Mayflower School, Federal Government College, Udogbolu, the first set of people. They'll tell you that even when they wandered away from schools, played pranks, it's the villagers that will even go and report you to your principals. They would tell your parents when they see your parents that you've left school. But we've reached a stage now that we need to work together, and that is what we've been doing with schools now, that if you are remotely located and you have boarding houses, let us know. Let us sit down together. Let's see what we can work with you. Are we going to raise the perimeter fence? Are we going to put concertina wire? Are we going to electrify the concertina wire? Are we going to put CCTV camera where you have a control room console where the security personnel can be watching the children? In some of the other crimes that we say things are not happening, you will even find out that in schools, in big malls, they have the warding system where you will group students together. That is the internationally recognized thing. You group students together, you teach them some civic responsibilities. Maybe in a class, as we used to have class prefects. In the hostel, you have one leader figure that they can reach out to, how they can do some things by themselves. So these are things that we're sharing with schools, that we're sharing with members of the community, that it is when we do things together, when we partner together, you know what you should do to protect yourself, to protect your children, to protect the schools. If our grasses are overgrowing, let us go and cut it. If part of the fence is broken. And you are now also talking of schools that, even in their location, the surrounding is more of swamp, water, or creeks, or something like that, that even when you are pursuing this criminal element, you get to a point that is like a cul-de-sac for you. Okay. Because they will enter that swamp, they will survive there, you will not be able to survive there. So those are the things that we've been telling people. And when we do all that together, because when you talk of securing a human being or safety for people, you first need to make yourself protectable. It's like when you are doing capacity building, you will say you need a trainable personnel in order to be able to train them. And that is when the thing sync well.
Please remember to join the conversation online. On Twitter, we're at the Amazons NG, Instagram at the Amazons Official NG, and on Facebook, we are simply the Amazons. From us here, have a lovely night. Be safe, be vigilant.
If you see something,
say something.